Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried and Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Thank you once again for tuning in. And as always, thank you for believing in me and believing in the guests that I bring on. Every week, I always say you're in for a treat. And I know I say it a lot, but man, people are amazing. And today's going to be no different. But before we get there, I need to give a shout out to our sponsors, Siegfried and Jensen, Wasatch Recovery, Thread Wallets, and then Paul Cardall for allowing me to use his music before and after these amazing stories that we are hearing. And like I said, today's going to be no different. Today we're joined by Jill Tupper. Jill, thank you for joining us today.
It is my total honor and privilege. I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. So let me give you a little background on Jill. She's a global speaker, leadership innovator, and has worked with Fortune 500 companies, organizations such as Boeing, McDonald's, AMEX, YPO. I actually did a speaking event for YPO a couple weeks ago. So the amazing organization. You've climbed Kilimanjaro. She's worked with Mother Teresa's Missionary of Charity in Calcutta and Ethiopia. She's run marathons and triathlons. She's all about body, mind, and purpose through neuroscience, which has proven to catapult leaders into new heights. She now is training and equipping boots on the ground in the war zone of Ukraine, first responders, soldiers, and refugees affected by this horrific war. You guys are going to be blown away what she's doing, like, and where she goes, and she's putting herself in some pretty scary situations. She has a neuroscience training, calm within the uncertainty of chaos of war. She has proven firsthand that the battlefield of the mind, which really hits me at home, is the same battlefield as the war zone in Ukraine. And again, she's just out there making a difference and helping these people who are suffering. And boy, we need more Jills in our lives. So Jill, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
Yeah. So why don't we start, Jill? Tell us a little bit about your childhood and where you grew up.
Oh, got you. I actually grew up in the Midwest, Kansas City, Missouri, if you know the difference between Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah.
And I am not a flatland girl. I've always been an adventure girl from as young as I can remember. Definitely the mountains have had my name, and my middle name is Mountain Girl. And so that's always been a key thing for me. You know, I grew up in a Catholic grade school and was really impressed by one specific nun, Sister Bernadette. And wildly, she didn't even speak English. But there was this impression I had from her. But I was the wild kid in the Catholic school. The nuns were a little terrorized by my energy.
Yeah. Who's this?
I was not everyone's joy. Yeah, so I hate to say it, but I was definitely the most rambunctious you could have found in the school. Yeah. And yet I really appreciate a lot of what the kind of background that gave me. I would also say I grew up with parents that really loved me. Three sisters, so four of us all together. But it also, when people say, when you want to explain your growing up, I would have said I grew up in a war zone.
Oh man.
But it didn't look it on the outside.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a war zone on the inside. And so that, I think, has a lot to do with where I am now. Literally, I never knew I'd be in an actual war zone.
Yeah.
And just, growing up in one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you say that, Jill. I really am a believer of life happens for us. Mm-hmm. Although when we're going through it, we don't necessarily know where this is taking us. And so that fits perfectly with what you just said. Like the war zone you were struggling with maybe as you were growing up has brought you to an actual war zone and the lessons you've learned. If you don't mind, share some of the what was that war zone like? Can you describe a little bit of what that was?
Yeah, you know, it was so tough because on the one hand, we were so privileged and blessed. You know, we had a great neighborhood. We had the club with the pool, the classes. My parents were really great at funneling my energy into every class they could put me in. I don't know any of my other sisters were as active in that regard. So they had me in acting, singing, art, dancing, trying to funnel my energy. So that I thought was really, really awesome. I also really appreciate my family, really, I think, doing a lot for people of all cultures. So I really appreciated that about them. And so they promoted my creativity, they encouraged it. But there was a huge internal battle within my mom and then within my parents' marriage. And it ended in divorce. But that was not until I went off to college. Okay. And it was a lot of battlefield going on. And I found it, it was rough. And actually, I would tell you that Young Life, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Young Life, but it's a really cool, like, relational adventure ministry. And I was a Young Life kid in high school. My Young Life leader became one of my best friends. So I ended up having a lot of safe, loving places to go. And don't get me wrong, my parents very much loved me. Sure. But it was a really rough, emotional space to grow up in.
Yeah. Wow. So, obviously it sounds like, believing in God and your faith, and that was obviously being cultivated as you were growing up. And I know that's a big part of your life, if not everything, right? Talk about how that started to develop, and how how that maybe helped you through some of this war zone stuff you were talking about and the minefield in your mind.
Yeah, I think I agree. Thank you for saying the minefield in your mind, because that's really what I think has been most highlighted to me around the globe, is the battlefield is in our mind, even in the midst of Ukraine and all the raging wars. So as far as for me, I was that kid that just had this really intimate relationship with God. Not even that I was taught it. I was just one of those kids. And it was always being outside, and I felt supported, loved by God. And then I would say Young Life became really critical to me, a few other churches, but I was never one to care about, I didn't care, is it Presbyterian? Is it Baptist? I don't care. I didn't care one bit about where it came from or the religious piece around it. I cared about were people living life to the fullest. And so I remember when I was 10 years old, I held on to, there was a scripture, John 10:10. That Christ came that we would have life and have it to the fullest. And I was like, that's what I'm going for. I'm in. And so my crisis of faith came a lot later. And that was no small thing. But I also could say in that crisis of faith that it also prepared me for what now I'm doing in the war zone. So I'm finally grateful for all the scars, but we all go through them. We've all experienced trauma. There's not one individual in the world I've ever met and it all is around how we deal with that. That can either make us stronger or can be our kryptonite for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you said something that really hit me when you said, I'm grateful for the scars. I think our listeners, will obviously can appreciate this on a level that they've been through. Like you said, we all got something we're going through. And that, I think, if we can be grateful and look back and go, I'm glad I suffered here and struggled here, because it's made me who I am today, and I get to handle this now because of it. Right?
Yeah, but it took me quite a while to be grateful. I'm not gonna lie, man. For me, it was over a decade of literally everything that I loved and cared for was stripped away. Everything. And I got to the point where I felt like, well, God doesn't care flying anything about me. He loves everybody else in the world, but he just threw me out to the curb. And I became convinced of that. And so that was my huge crisis of faith. So I would say that, life is not fair. Life is, we have all been betrayed. Every last one of us. I ask audiences that I speak to around the world, and then I make them hold their hands up. There isn't a soul that doesn't raise their hand and that hasn't been betrayed, lied about, but we tend to believe we're the only ones, right? We tend to believe our story's the worst. And I've become convinced that's no longer true.
Yeah.
And but God is somehow still in it. But it took me quite a while to scrappy my way out through that pain, that struggle, to reconnect with that truth. And then it was only after that, when I literally went to Ukraine, was the first time I could thank him for every scar. It wasn't until a year ago.
Wow. I did not know that. I mean, I knew that you'd gone through some things. I didn't realize it lasted that long.
Oh, it was awful.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, did it happen before you went to the Ukraine, or did it happen while you were there? Was there an event that happened that made you go, oh, wow, now I see it? Or was it just a gradual thing at that moment? I don't know.
Oh, that I woke up to why I thank God. I think that's a really good question. I would say over time, it was well over a decade that I was in, and I'm a natural optimist. So, and so it took a lot of losses and defeats and betrayals for me to finally get to the point where I wasn't going to get back up. And I didn't look it on the outside, but on the inside, we can all relate with that. We don't always look on the outside what we feel like on the inside.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had lost my hope, that I was really living in despair, which isn't even my natural wiring.
Right. Yeah.
And so the blessing of that was I used then all the tools that I train others in. And I didn't just read them in a book. I mean, I literally have practiced these tools to shift my own self during the darkest times. And as a result, now I know they work, not just because I'm proof, and, I would say I had thanked God for many of them, but I couldn't get to all of them for sure. And I heard people go, it'll all work out for good. And I was like, I don't know about that. And it wasn't until I arrived in Ukraine. You're right.
Yeah.
All the bombs are going off. I'm in Mykolaiv. I've never been in a war situation. I'm wearing bulletproof vests. Never in my million years would I have chosen to put myself in that situation.
Right.
And I realized that every tear, every lonely moment, so we often feel so lonely when we're going through despair and darkness. All of it had prepared me for such a time as this.
Wow.
I know.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that. I know that's a big question, obviously, because there's so much going on there. So, I love your passion. I love your energy. I've watched you on stage, and it's just amazing how you bring the audience together and connect people. And you're very passionate about your neuroscience training. Do you mind explaining that to our listeners, what that exactly is, and why, why that's so effective of what you do, helping others?
Well, I think how it all developed. My background is occupational therapy. That's my bachelor's, and my master's has been leadership. And so all of these pieces, I was kind of studying neuroscience before it was a popular word. And I'm kind of a geek that way. I knew that I knew the mind, the body, the emotions, the breath, and the soul all work together. And to me, as those come together, you can then begin to live out the fullness of your purpose. So that has always been intriguing, and I've always studied it, and I've always practiced what I study. Okay. So I want practical, applicable, moving forward tools. So as a result, I had been designing these through the years, and I had used them in different audiences with Young Life, with YPO, with Boeing, American Express, these kinds of things. And and even with like college age and teenagers, and we're watching all of this change happening very, very quickly. And so then after I got invited to, before the Ukraine piece, then, it's all knitted within, actually. I kind of probably have to pull it together for you.
Sure, please.
I had designed certain pieces of it. And as an instructor at the Rady Center of Executive Development at UCSD, I was doing this work. And then once I was asked to go to Ukraine, I realized, you know what? I just went thinking I was going to help. I was terrified. So don't get me wrong. When I was asked, terrified. And as a result, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I don't want to go. But you know, that's something in you that tells you you're going. I mean, this has got your name on it. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, my mom died when I was 24. My son is 24. This would be awful. And my daughter's 21 and we're Gilmore girls. And I'm like, and then where's the, you know, who can take that kind of time and the expense? Well, within about, I bet you it was maybe 16 hours, something like that. My daughter was like, Mom, you were built for this. You got to go. And my son was like, don't get killed. You know, that was, I love you, Mom. And then a body of work that I helped train their global leadership, they bought my ticket. So within 16 hours, there's no turning back. Right. And I'm oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Right. And it was nuts at that. And that was almost a year ago, next week. And since then, my life has not been the same. Not been the same. And so everything in the neuroscience that I already had done, after the first trip, within 36 hours of arriving, I had no idea. I think I'd be moving people, helping evacuate, do whatever they needed. Instead, within 36 hours, I'm training a group that has been completely stressed, overwhelmed, anxiety. They're all in the fight, flight, freeze state. They've been taking care of refugees. They're just at the heightened state. This was May 2nd. And so I said, I don't know if this will work, but let's try. Let's just shift you from the sympathetic system to the parasympathetic. Let's use some neuroscience tools. And everybody shifted like that.
Wow.
It was like, whoa, this worked. In war. This worked in war. And the next day, there was Heroes International sitting around the table, Rabbi Shimon from an amazing Jewish Messianic church, and then Young Life. And they all sat around the table and said, how can we mobilize Jill all around Ukraine? And I didn't really even understand what was happening. So we start doing these slides that I've done for YPO was the most recent. I trained some CEO presidents in some of this during the pandemic. And so then we took the slideshow, got everything we actually laminated them and translated them so that we knew we'd be in bomb shelters. We didn't know what was going to unfold. And sure enough, we were in bomb shelters. So I was then taken across the border and taken directly to military base, undisclosed, by myself. No one I knew was with me. And I don't even understand what's happening, Todd. And we've got like 15 people. They are psychologists, they are soldiers, they are chaplains, and they were captains. And they said, we've heard about your work. We want you to train us. And I said, guys, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm not a psychologist. I'm the first one that's going to tell you now I'm a neuroscience geek. And they said, we've all studied this. And guess what? Nothing's practical. And you make it practical. You teach us tools that are literally able to strengthen neural pathways that are there, but we've been not using.
Wow.
So literally then I couldn't tell you after that point how many beds I slept in. I can't tell you how many bombs I heard go off. I can't tell you how many, all the crazy was going on. And we trained refugees, military, chaplains, youth, teenagers, people working with kids, Young Life. And then that was just trip one.
Wow.
That was just trip one.
That is incredible. You know, and this is a dumb question, I know, but were you ever fearing for your life? Did you ever think you know what, this is a mistake? Cause I just heard a bomb go off and and that sounded pretty close. I mean, I can't even imagine, Jill. I mean, seriously.
Well, and I'm not that gal. Okay. So that's the thing. Like, that's not my idea of a good time.
A good time, right?
Yeah. I'd rather be in the mountains, doing a nice hike or rock climbing. To me is a lot less fearful than going into war. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know what? I believe that fear, as I've learned more and studied it, is that the opposition of fear is love. And I do believe that fear, we can feed it, or we can feed a sense of faith, not Pollyanna-ish, but I knew somehow within me, I knew this clear enough. and I'd experienced it enough that I was called to be there. Okay.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a question about that. So if it was my time to go, I had written my letters right before I left, just in case. Because, life doesn't, I don't even think God promises all the time safety.
Yeah. Right.
And so I did feel fear kind of coming in on the right side at one point. I'm in Mykolaiv. I've never heard bombing before. The bombing, the raid, the air raids were significant. And, you turn off the lights early. We were under a heavy, heavy siege every time I was in Mykolaiv until this last time. And I've been there now four or five times. And I was definitely, I would say, I wanted to bite into fear, sort of like, but instead I chose to resist it and say, no, I am here on a purpose. I have got a mission. I believe that I've been assigned to this. And so I'm not going to give in to fear.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my first go with dealing with fear, because I had been terrorized by it. And I learned by much of my training that I utilized myself. I had trained my mind to go into a different space of calm within chaos, even in the face of fear.
And that's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And how many times have you been back there now?
Well, that'll lead into the neuroscience question that you asked. So
okay.
Now it's 4. And I went once thinking that's it, right? But I got back, and within 2 weeks, I'm asked to go back. So I take everything that we had worked on, and I am like still coaching and working with people in Ukraine long distance, even some in Russia who are terrorized by the fear. And then I am actually creating the next level of the study, but in Ukrainian. So that was trip 2, right? And then I returned from trip 2, and I was in California with Young Life, working with people from all over Eastern Europe, and they were all in high alert states, all in fight, flight, and freeze. So I'm working with them. And then Young Life actually sent some Ukrainians here to my home for me to love on and care for. Wow. It was great.
Yeah.
And to work with them. Then from there, my 3rd trip, I was invited back to teach and train all of the Young Life staff, about 75 people. So we took kind of these slides that it's over there. And then we created this, but in Ukrainian. Okay.
Yeah.
So I created this, and that way they could move on. They could not only be trained in it. So this is some of my best material. I took it up to the highest level, but that they could continue to train over it. I call it the 30-30-30. And we got incredible responses. And then we started getting asked back. And so then we took everything up to the next level. So the next level is this. We actually have a full kit now that I've designed as Ukraine Warriors. Calm Within Chaos. This is our neuroscience kit. And this is how you build new neural pathways. So everything in this now, everything in this is to train you to rebuild and strengthen neural pathways. And of course, now they're all in Ukrainian as well, as you can see.
Love it.
Yeah. And
so that one says Ukrainian Warrior. Do you have one that's just for American Warrior, or is it for? We do actually. And we are already being asked to go different places in the world, much less around the US. So we are taking opportunities to speak, to train. Some are going with us. We have a training actually coming up this next weekend here in Denver. That we would love to have people come. You just go to my website and find out about it. We can't train people fast enough. That's what's going on. Sure.
And we just got back. We took 300 kits. We went for 3 weeks, and we trained 60, all of the medical staff in a children's hospital in Dnipro. Then we were taken into Kyiv. We trained 80 people at a Jewish Messianic church. A lot of the church leaders are really first responders now that are in high levels of stress and overwhelm. The whole church, everyone who's not working is mobilizing, helping, or they've left. The whole country needs every hand
Yeah.
deck. And then we were in Mykolaiv training youth and youth ministers and leaders that were all in high states of anxiety and overwhelm. Then we were back into Kyiv training 80 chaplains that are disseminated all around Ukraine. And we've been invited now to go back, train the police force, train more children's hospitals, the medical staff. So right now we can't mobilize fast enough. And it's big, it's a big job, but we know that we are called to be more of what we would call a 1.5 response team. Okay. We don't wait until later after trauma has set in and wired into the body. We interrupt earlier.
Wow. You know, it's just incredible. And I love that you actually say it's powered by love, right?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to that. Talk about that. Why, you know, we say that love, but why is that so important here, Jill? And how is love actually really fueling all of this for you? Because I know you're that woman. You really are. You are built for this, and you have that love and passion. And I think that's why you're doing such great work. But why is love so important?
I believe love is stronger than hate, and love is stronger than fear. I believe it's the strongest force. I'm not talking about love where everything's going and you can feel it easily and you hear the butterflies are flying around and all is perfect. Real love fights. Real love fights. And what I discovered in the world in the last handful of years is we're fighting each other. Okay. We are, especially in the US, we are not fighting a common enemy. We're at war with each other.
I know.
Well, I think the fighting spirit was knitted within us. The problem is we're not fueling it by the right source. Yeah. Love is the strongest force. And you can look at people like Gandhi. You can look at people like Martin Luther King. You can look at people like Mother Teresa. They fought, but they fought with love. Much stronger force, much stronger force. And so what I believe is that, and I heard years ago, I was in California when I got this Warriors Powered by Love. And now we're becoming global warriors powered by love. But I think we are designed to fight. And most of us have chosen that love is, you can just run over love. Yeah. Love is just kind of, but it is something we can fight with. And I don't care. And this is what Mother Teresa said. You can find Calcutta in every part of the world, wherever you have eyes to see, the neglected, the forgotten. They're in mansions, right over here in Cherry Creek and in Denver, and they are in slums. Yeah. All over the world, you can find people in need. And each of us has I believe, a significant purpose. Yeah. Significant. One of my favorite books of all time is Man's Search for Meaning by Victor Frankl. And it is one of my top books of all time. But we were designed with a purpose, and no one, you got it right there, baby. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm with you. Mine's right there. Yeah. That is really critical, is that nobody's purpose, is no one. We don't even need to be competitive because we don't have the same purpose. Yeah. Each one is unique. There are people that Todd can reach. There are people that Joe Hari, who's on my volunteer staff, can reach. Kaylee, St. Adrian, how I call her, that I can't reach. Yeah. And so we need to fight with the most powerful force. And if you look at a mama and her love, that's a warrior. Oh, yeah. There's no mama that's not a warrior. Yeah. Amen to that. Wow, that's powerful. I saw this, one of your posts. It's a video with YouTube playing. And at the very beginning, it shows you hugging this Ukrainian woman, and you can just see you can see her tears and things like that, and just the embracing that you two are doing. Again, I see love when I see that, and the power of that, and the connection. And I can't even imagine. I'm sure you have story after story after story of these people who are so grateful that you would be willing to come out there and teach them and to coach them and to show them, here's how you get through this, not only battling the outside war, but what's going on in your inside. I just can't imagine the stories you must have. You really can't it is so, it needs a book. I already feel it. I just need someone to come alongside of me and write it, because it's happening as we speak.
For sure.
But I want to be really clear where it looks like it's me in those photos, or Eric who just went with me. It's really not. I want to be very honest.
Sure.
And trust me, I love credit. So I'd be happy to bring my marathon, triathlon, outrigger racing medals and show you every one of them to prove to you how much I love credit.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is so freaking beyond me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I am so beyond humbled, and that is not lip service. There's no way this is me. This is a God source power coming in and through me and everyone. And also, there are hundreds of people behind me, and we need thousands more. We need people that, we have people volunteering. We have people, raising money. We've got people going with us, training, praying. We've got a team, and we need even more of a team.
Yeah. Right.
And we need, I believe we're being called into a global movement, and not even my idea, by the way. It's not like, I don't think Mother Teresa sat out going, gee, I'm going to be missionary charity around the world. I just get this inkling that the world's so fighting against each other. If we can mobilize people to fight for themselves and one another, we will rise back globally. And that's the key. And what you're going to see is in Ukraine, they're fighting together against a common enemy. This is the greatest thing. That's one of the greatest things that's coming out of the worst of atrocities in the midst of war.
Yeah. Wow. Well, if someone, how does someone get involved? If you need more people, what's the best way for them to do it? And how could they find more information on what you're doing and currently need? What are your, so they understand?
That would be great. That would be great. We really do need $1 million. I'm not kidding. We're looking for the miracle million. And we're hoping we're very cutting edge in what we're doing. So there's been nothing that we can tell, and there might be, but we didn't see it anywhere in Ukraine, and we haven't heard of it in the US yet. But that there is this, you don't want to wait until trauma sets in. The faster you can interrupt it. And I have so many stories. And so I would say go to my website, jilltupper.com. We're creating our Global Warrior website. We're in the process. Hang in there with us. Follow us on Instagram, Jill Tupper, until we get the other. We didn't see this coming, but we had been prepared for it. So while you don't see something necessarily coming, trust that whatever you've gone through, the worst and the best, is preparing you for your greatest purpose to unfold. And so I would just say, my confidence is not into myself. It's into how God's brought this team around us. And I think the world is really in desperate need. Do we have time for a story or two?
For sure. Oh, no, we've got plenty of time.
Oh, we do. Okay. I didn't know what your frame was. Okay. So there's one man. I was taken into Bucha. I don't know if you remember Bucha, but it was a horrific. It was occupied. It was butchered, really. And it was just awful. And they took me in, and this was an amazing church. Everyone mobilized there. So I want you to understand, I've never seen any kind of mobilization like this ever. So it was so inspiring, and they're the heroes. I'm not. I'm just going to help strengthen them to hero work. So I want to be super clear on that. And so they took me to a place, there were maybe 500 people, and we're feeding them. And then they're helping in any way we can, but it's being under siege still. It's being bombed as we're there. And one man is in this position. You can see it in some of my pictures, but he's in what I call the shame position, locked down. He was not looking up. I didn't even notice him in the crowd. Someone else took a photo, and his wife came up to me after and said, please, 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 can you help? And she said he jumped out of the window, literally, when the Russians came. Now, if you understand the sympathetic system, the high alert state that we all have, which is needed, by the way, but it's fight, flight, and freeze. He couldn't have stopped himself. He had a reaction, a physiological reaction that hijacked the body, jumped out the window, and he survived, except emotionally. and mentally he was devastated. So he believed he was living in shame the rest of his life. So here I am right there. And she says, can you help? And he's right there. Like, and I went, okay. I just took a deep breath and I just turned and I got out of the way. And I feel like that's in many ways how things can move through you powerfully. And I had to go down, down, down. He wouldn't look up. And when I was finally able to explain what happened to his system, just neurologically, and that now he has a choice. You can either say, you can tell what thought process are you going to feed? And if you continue to feed this process, it will kill you. And I already know this. It will kill you. And that man in 20 minutes, if you could see the picture after we hugged, you would not believe me. And someone else took the photos, which is such a joy. And I've seen him since, and he is free.
Wow.
Like he set himself free.
Right.
So let's be really clear. It's really not me. I go in and coach. They have to do the work.
Yep.
All of us, nobody can do it for us. And then Luda, she was also in Bucha. And I was in Bucha really early on, maybe a few weeks after it had been liberated. And people are living in, Todd, you got to understand this. They're living in buildings, that most people live in flats. And many of the flats are bombed out or secondary blast blows out glass. And they have no water, they have no electricity, and they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, just go to refugee camps. Well, let's talk about refugee camps.
Yeah.
There may be good intentions with refugee camps, but there are over, I know well over 20,000. I think that number is higher of children that were taken from Ukraine into Russia. Taken from families. So there's so much, I can't even begin to tell you the level of cruelty, the level of horrific, and I don't repeat the stories in any level of devastation because I don't want to traumatize anyone else, but it's horrific. It's total terror. And so this woman, she and her son had been living in an actual home, really beautiful home. And they are, they had been taking care of people that were like running for their lives, right?
Yeah.
And they kept filling their home full. And then they discovered that there's a traitor in the village. And guess how long he had been living there? Like 7 years. This is a neighbor. This wasn't just, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's a neighbor. He's been living there for like 5-7 years. And he turns them in. And then artillery comes. It's just like a normal, just think about where you live. Do you live in a home?
Yeah.
You're blessed to live in a home. So you're living in a home.
Yep.
And both sides of your street, can you imagine on both sides that the artillery comes and blasts the entire block to smithereens?
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
And they take me to her home.
Oh.
And all you see, you can find this in all these pictures. All you see is a skeleton. And that's where she meets me. And they said, she's gone through so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is out of my league. I don't know what I can do.
Yeah.
And she tells the story of her home, but she's also in this position, total devastation. And so they found a quiet place for us to work. I worked with her with neuroscience, with the mind, not with talking about the problem. This is not psychology. They know what they're doing. That is not my forte. Yeah. I'm not a PTSD girl. That is not my strength. My strength is to interrupt trauma before they become traumatized. That's why we call ourselves a 1.5 response team.
Gotcha.
And so it would only happened a few days before, but not only did her home get blown up, her son runs out to stop them from blowing up the home. And she runs after him and she sees her son blown up in front of her.
Oh. Terrific. Yeah.
And
wow.
And they want me to go work on her. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But we did. And you just couldn't recognize her face after. That's not me.
Yeah.
That was not me.
Right.
That's not me. And
oh man.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I try not to tell too many stories.
No, you're fine. No, I'm glad you're sharing, but it's hard to hear it sometimes, but I'm glad you're sharing.
Yeah. And It's wild because I know I cannot not share.
Yeah.
And wildly, before I left, before I was even asked to go to Ukraine, I was reading Bonhoeffer.
Really?
No kidding. Tell me I wasn't being prepared. Why?
Yes. Wow.
I was being so prepared. And he
Yeah.
talks about, I wish I had it right here with me, but he talks about, I do right over there. And he talks about how he can't be silent about what he sees. He has to continue to speak, even though it's dropped out of the news, because it would be lying if he did not use his own voice to speak for those who couldn't speak.
Yeah.
And I'm living that. I could have written that exact passage. And so that's where I feel like I am, is this crazy, I'm caught in something that isn't me, that I just have an assignment. I cannot not go. I've done everything to create this, including, investing my 401k to create what I know is meant to be prepared for people.
Yeah.
And I cannot not with what I've seen. And if you saw it, Todd, you'd feel the same way.
Yeah. I
Can't
bet.
turn your back.
Wow.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing those stories. And as hard as they are to hear, they need to be told. And it just puts perspective on this. And again, like I said, we need more Jills in our life for sure. And again, I love that you're not taking the credit. You're just there as, a conduit, if you will. But again, you're the one willing to do that too, though, Jill. And I am going to give you a little bit of credit, because without you doing this and creating this packet and this kit for people to be a warrior, I love that. Like, just that mindset switch, like, oh, I'm a warrior. I'm actually a warrior. I mean, just that alone, that just thinking it in that way. And that's why I love how you've titled this and the way you formatted that. It's just beautiful.
Well, and what's crazy about it is I heard Warrior Powered by Love 7 years ago in California, and I didn't know what it was for. And I even created shirts and the logo, but I didn't.
That's crazy.
And even here in Denver, I have our Warrior Powered by Love young adults, and they're from all over the world. I have the most amazing eclectic group of young warriors, and they're from Asia, India, Africa, all over the world, South America. And I train them in many of the same things that we're talking about. So, because when you realize you're a warrior and not a victim, then you will train. And so a lot of what we're about in this is identifying, it's just like an athlete, Todd, I use this all the time, is that, I think I did a couple of marathons and someone says, you're such an athlete. And I go, I'm not an athlete. And they go, well, then what's it take to be an athlete? And I went, I'm an athlete. Well, once I took that on, it changed the way I trained.
Yeah.
So once you understand you're a warrior, you no longer just, life is a freaking war, whether you want to fight or not. It's going to be a war. And there are beautiful times at war. If you could see some of the clips, and, we'll celebrate they celebrated my birthday. Bombs going off May 6th in Mykolaiv, and they celebrated my birthday in the midst of the war.
That's incredible.
Because you go on, and I can tell you stories about Anthony and his beautiful wife, Sonia, who his place, young life leaders, amazing, brave, and his flat from a secondary blast gets all the windows get blown out. And you never want to be near when you always have to think about little things. And he said, Jill, I've been so scared. And he moved his bed all the way by the door, which is what you do. You just take the mattress. I've been known to sleep on the floor away from windows. I try not to be in high rise. I'd rather be living with people. Sometimes sleeping on the floor. And they were so brave. They went ahead with their wedding. They changed the location, because they could hear where some hot spots were. And they got married under some beautiful trees. And there are new babies. I've held newborn babies in the war zone. There are beautiful women. There's a gorgeous woman, Anna, who I'd love you to hear her story. She's a brilliant vocalist. She's absolutely extraordinary. And she's a soldier.
Yeah.
So you see her sitting in the trenches singing. Her husband's a soldier. They've chosen to be soldiers. And now she's pregnant and going to have their baby.
Jeez.
In the middle of the war, life is continuing and beautiful things are happening. And that is the indomitable spirit of faith, of hope, of love. Tell me love isn't more powerful than hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Couldn't agree more. I think there's a scripture, forgive me, I don't know where it's at. Maybe you can help, but I think it says something like perfect love casteth out all fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that, and I know when I first read that, it was years and years and years ago, but over time I've started to notice that it really does cast it out, and how powerful that really is. And so I'm with you 100% on that. And man, so if someone like that kit you have, is that something that anyone could purchase, like that wants to be a warrior and learn these things? But I was just curious if that's
I think that's a really good question. We need the funding. Not gonna lie, because we've got a big vision and we're being asked now. If I listed the requests to you that we're getting in now,
I can imagine.
globally, and I'm like, okay, how are we doing this one? We need this in multiple languages. I will not give out any material. And here's why. There's a real reason behind it. If information could change people, we would all be wealthy. We'd all be perfectly fit.
Yeah,
we'd all have the perfect families, the perfect marriage, the perfect home, all of it.
Yeah.
Information. Now, here's what it can even do. It can actually cause us to, it can be our kryptonite. And here's why. Our prefrontal cortex then knows a fact. All right. And I'm going to tell you the story behind it. Knows a fact. Please. And when you know a fact, your brain tells you, I know it. Well, you only have the fact. You have not integrated it as a knowing, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a biological, neurological, spiritual, emotional experience to know something.
Yeah. Okay.
I could send you a book about how to get in perfect shape, but unless you take that and integrate that information, there will be integration. It will not change you.
Yeah.
And so I was speaking, I can't even remember. You'd love this though. The churches, like, I don't even remember which church, because I don't care. I don't care I don't care where you call me and I'm going. It doesn't matter to me. And I mean, there were 1,000 people in standing room only and all these things. And so I remember that the pastor's wife, I think. Anyway, someone had a heart condition there. No, I don't think it was her, but someone had a heart condition. And something happened during while I am speaking. And as a result, ambulance comes, they check her out. Afterwards, she says to me, will you pray for me, Jill? And I said, let me ask you this question. Have people prayed for you? And she says, oh, yes, all the time. And I said, that's awesome. I said, can I ask you a few questions? How do you feel very anxious very often? Absolutely. Off the charts. I'm worried all the time. Do you ever get out and walk? Visibly, she didn't look. No time. I'm so stressed. How is your sleep? Don't sleep. I'm worried about people. And so just a few simple questions. And I said, I really think you need a nervous system reset, which is what we do. And I think our training would be helpful for you. But in my mind's eye, please don't take this wrong, I didn't think one more prayer was going to help her. I mean,
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And here's why I say this. And I say this all the time in my training. I said, I could stand there and pray, God, tie my shoe, God. God, please tie my shoe. And he'd be like, honey, step down and tie your own shoe. You got your fingers, you got your hands, you got your eyes. And I don't believe God's going to do something for us that we can do for ourselves. Yeah. We have already been equipped with the parasympathetic system that can take us into rest, take us into release. What I see first is release, rest, restore, and then reset. Those are the 4 things I see with my own eyes, in front of my eyes, now thousands of times.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you from experience of what I see happen in front of my eyes all over the place. And it's not one, it's all 80.
Yep.
You know, unless one person, and once in a while we have somebody really pushing back, chances are they've been through something really traumatic and we're not the place.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Totally fine with that.
Yeah.
We're not everybody's thing. We're more for the normal person. And we've gone now to CEOs, we've gone to leaders, we've gone to Young Life Ministry, we've gone to executives, we've trained young adults, we've trained refugees, we've trained doctors, medical staff, first responders, chaplains, you name it. We've now, and every time I would say, I don't know if this is going to work, and it worked. And now they all can't get us back fast enough. So all I can tell you is that if we give out this information, I would just kind of go, I've heard this before. I would do that.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't take it in. So we train. You come and you're trained. Like,
okay.
Come next weekend, Todd, honey, you're training. You don't get to sit back and everybody in. Yeah. And I tell them, you may not take the kit. If you're not going to use it, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Do not take it.
Yeah, don't take it.
If you're not going to use it, do not share it with anyone. You work on you first, because how am I going to train someone else?
Yeah.
If I'm not, am I going to really listen to someone who's not an athlete, how to run a marathon?
For sure.
No, I'm going to talk to someone who now has gone back 4 times.
Yep.
In the war zone. And the 3rd time I was sleeping on the floor in Mykolaiv, and it was the worst bombing. That was the closest, meaning like earth shattering.
Yeah.
And I felt it go all the way through my body. And I thought, this is it. And I just went, okay, God, I'm terrified. So you better hold on to me.
Yeah.
Because if this is it, I'm still living on point, and the next bomb comes and it goes again, just all through me. But at this point, I had sort of started to exhale and let go, because I've trained myself.
Yeah.
I don't do it perfectly. I'm not perfect at any of this. I get anxious, stressed, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how can I train anyone else if I don't know how to get out of it?
Exactly.
So, anyway, and then I came back and I felt, because of my integrated awareness, I felt it in my quads and in my feet. My feet were gripping the floor. And so I then realized from integrative awareness, okay, I can't go back until I solve this. Okay. So and so my people, when they go, that's the first thing I want is they need to be physically trained. They've got to be able to be calm in the midst of emergencies, but then they've got to be able to release it, because the body does keep the score. And if I keep holding on to it, I can't go back without really literally killing myself. So this clearly even works for me, if that makes sense. Or I wouldn't be going back.
Makes perfect sense. And yes, you are the message. You are being the message that you share. You are living the message. And I do actually respect what you just said. I think that makes perfect sense. Information's information. Yep. Like you said, if that's what changed people, then we'd all be done.
We'd be so done.
I know. And I love that you're out there training and coaching and teaching people on how to do this. And it's just a beautiful thing that you're doing. And I don't know, I'm just blown away with what you do and how you carry yourself, Jill. It's amazing.
Well, and we're training trainers. So do know that we believe that we're training a global team.
Yep.
That we've got more people that, I can't tell you how many people want to be involved. We just need the economics to be able to shore it all up. But we are, people are asking, and the people that are asking to be trained are nurses, trauma nurses, doctors. I'm training. I had an ER doctor who came up to me in tears and said, if I had this, I would still have my family. I've lived in so much stress. And then I go to hug him and he starts to sob. It's the ER doctor, and a psychologist comes up and she says, and so we're not only going back to Ukraine to train, our goal is to train trainers within Ukraine, and then within every other country.
Yeah.
Right. You see, and we can even bring in some US people that are being trained with Ukraine. And this again makes our world smaller.
Gotcha.
That we are then a global team training. So we've discovered something we think is all natural. I mean, there's nothing in here that's we're already built to go into calm and chaos. But I've packaged decades of work together in this. So that no one else has to work this hard to get what I've had to get. And now it's just beautiful to see it in action.
Yeah. No, it's amazing what you're doing. I love it. It's amazing. And I appreciate you coming on here and sharing this with us today. I really do. You know, I always ask this question towards the end of all episodes, and I'm going to ask you as well. If there's someone listening to your voice right now who's in a dark place, they're struggling, and they're just, you know, you've already shared some really cool things and some very powerful principles already. What's one thing you could tell that person who's struggling right in this very moment? What would you tell them?
Boy, I know that place all too well. I would say one of the first things that the sympathetic system does when you're in high alert is isolate you. And that's it. When you understand the science behind it, it's just normal. But don't isolate. Also, I think don't be around people that will let you go to the dark place. We have all been traumatized, and I don't mean to I mean, my trauma is nothing compared to many people's trauma, nothing at all. However, none of us are strangers. If you've been on the planet very long, you've experienced some level of trauma. So there's a bit of relatability into it. I would say don't buy the isolation. That's really key. And I think COVID just escalated that. And find people that are not fear-based. Go to someone that fights with love. And sometimes they need to fight for you. If you're in a dark place, I've had people fight for me in my darkest of places. And don't go it alone. Sometimes we just can't until we build. It's just like going to a hospital, right? Like if you're sick and you need medical care, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself for a while. Let other people help rebuild you. But know that you can train in the best of ways. It's not ignoring, but you can train your body to go back into its regular homeostasis between high alert and parasympathetic. So don't isolate. Be around someone that fights with love, that won't let you do the dive bomb. And then stay with that till you start to build your strength. And then honestly, you know, I'm not trying to sell my training, but our training is, I love our training. I mean, I'm changed every time I train. And I mean, really, I'm not lying. It's crazy. I've literally been in a village, Korean village. You can't believe the places I've gone. I've been taken to secret villages where the high officials of the military are being hidden, you know, their families. And then taken back out. And it's just, I was in a Korean village within Mykolaiv. Bombs are going off and everyone, tiny room, and 60 of us go into our parasympathetic system. And one man just started to cry. He had a strong faith, but he had never accessed the peace that transcends understanding. It's just a natural. So it's there. I promise you it's. Yeah.
Very well said. Very great advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, tell people how they can learn more about what you're doing and get more involved.
Right now, just bear with us, but contact us, jill@jilltupper.com, email us. We don't have a big following on Instagram because I just figured out Instagram. Literally, we're kind of doing this as we go. Facebook, just find us. And it's right now, it's just Jill Tupper. It will be going into our Global Warriors PBL, Powered by Love. That's all in process with our volunteer team. If you know people that really believe in innovation and really want to make a significant difference and know that their funding is going specific to touching people's lives in the war zone of Ukraine, send them our way. We've got a Ukraine page on my website. and you want to serve, you want to pray, you want to help, you want to bring us in to speak, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can go back in and do companies and training companies. We'll do all of this. And then there'll be a portion of this that goes directly to Ukraine, and then keep up on when we're doing our next training in the US. We'll do as many as we can. Our hope is to go back June. We're being asked all over Ukraine in June, but we're going to need some strength behind us to keep going, and it's going to come.
Yeah.
So
Love it. Well, Jill, I can't thank you enough for being on my show today.
Thank you.
Truly an honor. Again, I'm so impressed. You're passionate, you're engaging, you're captive, you're compelling. You're the woman that helps people conquer crisis. It just really is inspiring. And again, I know you're not perfect, and I know you give credit.
Oh yeah, totally not.
I know that, but again, we need more Jills in our lives, and I'm grateful to be able to know more about what you're doing. And I hope that my show can help fuel some of these things that you need. And you need to raise $1 million. If we can help do that too, great. So I am asking everyone who's listening to this to please, if you have any resources whatsoever that you could help out, please check out Jill's stuff. You will be so impressed. And she is actually, to watch the videos of her in the Ukraine is just mind blowing. And watching her walk around these buildings that have been blown to smithereens, and just, and she's out there doing the work, man, guys. She practiced what she preaches. So thank you so much. And Jill, one last thank you. You're the best. And I, again, can't thank you enough for being here.
Well, thank you for giving voice to what you're doing is so vital. The world needs to hear all the warriors powered by love around the world that are inspiring others. And honestly, we're all designed to. You aren't more special, and I'm not more special than anyone else. To me, this learning to shift, doing this nervous system reset sets you free to live your purpose.
Yeah.
And it's a joy, and the world needs us now, all of us, to be warriors powered by love more than it ever has. Amen to that.
That just reminded me, I got to share this quote by Pablo Picasso. It says, the meaning in life is to find your gift. The purpose of your life is to give it away. And that's exactly what you're doing. So there you go, folks. And Jill's amazing, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I love you. Thanks for believing in me. And I just am so grateful for all of you. And we're going to make a difference here. And again, let's join Jill in saving lives. Till next time, everyone. Love you.
Bye.